Good morning, everyone. We are already having few attendees, but I would like to start as our webinar will be recorded. So I want to be in time with everything, to be super specific and accurate. So I'm Claudia Munteanu, Marketing Director at Cegeka Romania, and it's a great honor for me to be the moderator of this webinar today, together with my guests. And hopefully we will try to understand how will the insurance industry stand out in times of uncertainty. So first of all, I'm super happy, and I would like to thank you to my guests today for my partners in crime. Mark Willemse, Chief Information Officer at NN Romania, and to my colleague Andrei Pavel, Director of Engineering at Cegeka Romania. So welcome again, and I will give you the mic to present yourself and to let us know a few words about yourself and your experience, activity.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Andrei. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. My name is Mark Willemse. I'm Dutch from origin. I arrived in Romania, Bucharest, 1st of September 2020. This is an assignment within NN Group, and it's been a great honor, and I'm really proud to join the Romanian team. Great people, great engineers, and also a huge potential of the company, and building fast forward their digital footprints in the country. So I'm really proud to work with this team, and thank you for this opportunity to join this webinar.
Thank you too, once again.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Claudia, for having us, for organizing this. Good morning, Mark. Very good to have you here. Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrei Pavel, and as Claudia mentioned, I'm a director of engineering with Cegeka. I've been with Cegeka for a number of years already, and in the software industry since 2006. Yes, that would be correct. So quite some time, which gave me the opportunity to work in and experiment with the large number of technologies or methodologies, exploring different verticals on the projects I've worked with. And it was and still is a fun and fulfilling ride. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here today and have an engaged discussion with everyone present.
I would start with an icebreaker question. How did you start your day, and how do you find your day-by-day optimism? Because it's sometimes challenging, and we need it.
Well, you know, Claudia, I am a morning person, so every day I wake up between 6 and 6:30. So for me, it's easy to wake up and stand up and start a day. For me personally, it's taking time to wake up and to prepare to have a coffee and a small breakfast. That's for me the foundation of the day. If I would skip it, or if I would not reserve time for this, it will come back as a boomerang later that day, because a good start for me is a good foundation. In quietness, in peace, and in calm. Yeah.
Great start.
On my side, it's different. It's vice versa. It's not calm. I have a baby boy of 6 months old, so he's 6 months old. So it's not really calm. The welcoming of a new day. But it's definitely related to your question also, Claudia. It's very energizing. So we are waking up at around 6:45. It's like a Swiss clock. Not sure how he does it, but that's the time. And of course, well, all the nice things happen from that point on. And regarding the let's say the professional work and the professional day, I'd like me personally start with a little bit of planning of the day, and also looking for the next work week So I also look a little bit ahead. And actually that's the first step, and a big part of the energy I'm getting from interacting with people that also have a good level of energy, but also getting things done. That is a very powerful incentive for myself to get energy from.
I also like to be surrounded by energetic people, to be influenced and to take their energy, their positive energy. And yes, it's good to have this, to have also today with you, because I feel that positive energy. And starting with a new word for us, a new world also for us, COVID. We hear it at the news, we find it on internet, we use it on our daily conversation, emails, meetings. COVID became part of our daily vocabulary as we learn to live with the virus. This crisis generated by COVID-19 virus continues to have a serious impact on individuals, society, business, and even the wider economy. The insurance industry, in our case, was also affected, obviously, by it, and the insurers needed to respond quickly to the impact of the crisis and also to face a number of challenges, but also to see many new opportunities in medium to long term. How did the pandemic find your company? How did you adapt? And what strategies did you approach?
Yeah, well, when it started, I think for many of us in the insurance industry, many companies in the financial services industry, but especially in insurance, it was about preparing ourselves at first to keep the promise. We are very customer oriented, and what we sell is a promise. What we sell is a confirmation and a promise to take care of you in good times, and of course in bad times. So to the customer, it's always keeping the promise. To prepare ourselves, being able to keep this promise and to fulfill this promise, we quickly had to adapt to allow our workforce, our colleagues, our teams to work from home. Working from home always has been a capability and a facility offered in the company, but suddenly we were challenged to scale up quickly. So that requires some creative thinking, but also to lean back and to execute particular controls and techniques to scale up infrastructure-wise, security-wise, and then also for the people, the front-end applications, as well the laptops, homework devices. So that is something which has been done in NN Group. So Romania is one of the countries as a member of NN Group. So the infrastructure teams, the technology teams within our company quickly also aligned with the head office in The Hague, but also with the infrastructure services teams in other countries, and then to scale up. So this is about preparing ourselves and enabling to work from home. But then we are home, and then what? So then a series of secondary, third events were launched. How to bring, let's say, structure, coordination, alignment, and focus and attention to the people, to the workforce, and also in what way they can remain customer focused and remain customer oriented. And some of the processes and procedures needed to be adjusted for working from home in this new situation. This is about signing documents. This is where it showcases the need to quickly adapt. So, this is not about a timely or orderly strategy session and let's think about how we can change or how we can improve. We were literally pushed and challenged and pushed to adapt to this situation. And some external pushes or challenges, they will fuel the need for innovation and digitalization. So it's one of the best change drivers I think I've ever experienced.
So yeah, indeed, for some reason it's very clear in my mind the period when it all started, February last year, March last year, and we were definitely on a growth path at that moment, and then of course the pandemic started, and to some extent a lot of things changed, or at least we thought so at that moment, that it's going to be really different. Even if in the couple of first months, I think, yeah, there was more a let's wait and see. The novelty of the situation kind of paused everything, at least from a strategic decision perspective. Everyone didn't know what to do. Should we invest now? Should we wait? But I think, as also Mark said, after those couple of months, yeah, March, April, maybe even May, I think we all realized that we need to yeah, get going. And I think one of the most important things that we realized during that period was that there's not really a big impact in productivity. That is what we noticed, because yeah, at least from a software development perspective, things kept going, and that's of course the biggest impact there had to do with yeah, the commitment of our colleagues, and the seriosity and the dedication, and that has to be underlined again and again, I think. So in biggest part, it was due to him. From a business perspective, we definitely saw an impact, especially on our partners on some verticals. Logistics was one of them. We did see an impact there. Yeah, no wonder. And I think to a certain extent for other partners, after the brief pausing, it was quickly realized that we need to digitalize, and we need to do it at a faster pace, because the customer expectations changed. Not necessarily that they wanted, but because we were all locked in our houses. So then your expectation and your needs, it's yeah, still to maybe have insurances or drop contracts and so forth and so on. But that, of course, had to do with having a way to accomplish those expectations, and digitalization in this respect was a need that had to be yeah, on fast forward. So looking from that perspective, and I'm reaching actually the same conclusion as Mark, it was an opportunity for the software development industry, at least a big opportunity, and still is. I'm absolutely sure about it, that this yeah, challenge with COVID transformed in an opportunity, and not one but many. And of course, whoever wants to survive needs to digitalize. And the interesting thing, I think, is that this will go on even after COVID, because the end users and the customers and also the partners' expectations have changed in the way that I don't think will revert back. I mean, if I'm used to do everything from my computer, even after COVID, I'm not going to probably want to go in a certain office for whatever, paying an utility or drawing up a contract. I will still want to do it from my computer or from my whatever device. So I think that's a long-term trend that we will see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Continuing your idea, Andrei, about digitalization, also for marketing, was a huge transformation to the virtual world, and to transform most of our marketing campaigns into digital marketing campaigns. And I will also add that the insurance company can't do without digital tools to be successful, competitive, and profitable. And of course, we can use Excel sheets to track payroll or to call our clients via phone, but that's pretty an outdated approach. Related to the development of software used by insurance companies, we can distinguish two polar approaches: off-the-shelf and custom, focused on the idea of a unique software for each company, so all that custom products are exclusive and unlike each other. How do you compare insurance off-the-shelf software products with custom developed solutions? In each situation, would you choose either of them?
Thank you for your question, Claudia. You know, in my career, going back in banking and insurance for the last 20-25 years, we recognized two mainstreams, whether it was buying off shelf, and buying, let's say, to keep the nearest or to achieve the nearest closest fit for purpose. And on the other hand, we were very much dedicated and committed to build custom solutions because this is literally IT driven, and then we would even be ready to build any kind of solution for a problem nobody ever stated. So that was the other side of the range of the spectrum. One of the principles I've used in the past was buy before build. Buy before build was basically to keep to avoid a kind of a lock-in or complexity of solutions, both in the front end and middleware and back end infrastructure, especially on the front end. Ending up with a lot of customized solutions might lead to a higher complexity, higher maintenance, higher change costs, and maybe even a higher risk footprint. And then, there was the stream of buying off shelf, and that was the challenge for off-shelf solutions. We had to adjust our existing processes to fit into a configuration of a software solution bought off-shelf. If I take a few steps back and I look to the digitalization, the activities, the initiatives, the ideas, the innovation, and the fit for purpose, I don't think we can continue to separate mainstreams of buying off-shelf and customization. I think it's a combination where a very strong footprint has been set on the craftsmanship of our workforce. If we look to the evolvement of the IT engineering community and the level of competences, solution orientation, quality of development, innovation, and digitalization, I think there are quite some leading communities and engineers, software development engineers, who can basically build everything. The good thing about this is that when it gets proven and it gets sustainable into the ecosystem of a company and it brings value to a customer, it's there to stay. So, I don't, let's say, follow a hard-coded separation or segregation of customization and buying off shelf. Buying off shelf has some, let's say, good offering about scalability and good offering about maintenance and security and let's say less complexity. But in the end, it's fit for purpose for the customer. Even I could buy a good off-shelf solution, and around it I can build some customized solutions to make a details fit for purpose. So I don't follow a hard-coded segregation anymore.
So indeed, if you think about it, a off-the-shelf product aims at touching multiple needs or business needs or business cases. But in order to achieve that, it adds a certain level of, let's say, abstractization. And further on, to a certain extent, you can customize that. You can adapt that, and then you can implement, let's say, in a way that is closer to the needs of your whatever, I don't know, customers, business users. And sometimes that's good enough, and it's okay to use that because yeah, it comes at also as a cost efficiency. In other times, it may be that it is not enough, is that you need to implement a specific set of business rules that are maybe hard, or I don't know, hard to implement or hard to maintain, or downright hard or impossible to implement in that off-the-shelf product. Or you need to do some sort of very specific integrations. Or again, you need to serve some specific expectations of your users. And it's something that happens because we all know that the attention spans nowadays, it's getting shorter and shorter, and you need to offer your user quickly what he or she is looking for, and involved or engage, creating an engagement level in your whatever flow you have there. And for those situations, probably bespoke custom solutions is more fit for the purpose. In the end, I think they are not mutually exclusive. So you can use part of the portfolio to or for some part of the portfolio to use off-the-shelf products, while for the others, you go for a bespoke solution. So I think you need to be, or we all need to be smart in making the right choices. It's not black and white, but it should start also from the needs that you have, and also building for the future. You want to have something sustainable and consistent from a portfolio management. I'm speaking from a technical perspective also. Yeah.
I forgot to mention that everyone is welcome to address questions to you. We have a chat, and feel free to put your questions to our guest today. We will take the questions at the end of our session. We'll continue with artificial intelligence and machine learning, which had become a buzzword even for the insurance industry. Still, the insurance industry has made significant progress in AI implementation, although we are in the early stage, in early days. Why the insurance industry needs AI solution? How do you see AI or machine learning playing a role in the insurance industry?
Well, I think it's important that the insurance industry, first of all, acknowledges and realizes that we have access to a lot of data, internally available on transaction level, product level, customer level, movement of customers, distribution channels, and this is a huge asset. So, it's important that first the insurance companies today realize that they have a huge asset with respect to data. So data is a strategic asset of any company. If I focus it on the insurance company, it's of highly essence and value to not only treasure this data, but also to further explore this data, and to explore, first of all, to increase the corporate knowledge and insights of customer behavior first. Many product development or policy rules or product offerings is already based on this data and insights. But if you take it to the next level, we could even, let's say, combine external data sets with socio-demographic behavioral data sets of existing customers, but also on prospects, on society, on industries, on sectors. So let's say hard data with respect to transactions, customer data, product data, distribution can be combined with the more soft data, data of engagement like social media, industry data, sector data, social demographic data. So, the insurance industry is acting and presenting and is present in a sector which is in the end a product for a promise, whether in life insurance, in pensions, in non-life. And one of the statements and one of the value drivers of NN Group is, to safeguard the financial security of our customers. So to safeguard financial security of our customers is, through their lifetime. So we would have a lot of views and access to data to create these views in various lifetime circles of our customers. Various, whether they are an individual customer, just started work after their studies, up to social demographic milestones in relationships, in marriage, in building families, in building up to the next step, to own a house, to purchase a mortgage, to safeguard the financial security of their loved ones, their families, and up to pension. So it's a long lasting, enduring lifetime and customer connection. So this brings a lot of data. Data on, let's say, based on the customer engagements from the past, as well to future predictions, future anticipations of industry developments, economical developments, social demographics. So I think for insurance companies, this is first of all important that they position and promote data as a strategic asset in the company itself. Not only for product development or marketing activities, but also for the long-term customer lifecycle value. Then it's about gearing up and transforming the company to be ready to further utilize this strategic asset. And this is about tools, techniques, processes. This is about bringing big data back to big brains, because somehow we need to know what we want to know. Somehow we need to know or formulate or define which direction we would like to follow to work with all this data. So it still requires good thinking, smart thinking, and the willingness to explore, to make mistakes, to fail fast, to work with large data sets which, let's say, look from the outside quite unlogic or unstructured, but could contain the golden nuggets in specific customer behavior or particular trends. So that is something what we don't know. What we do know is that we need to explore these data sets. We need to find a way to explore this data. And NN Group has started this journey 5 years ago. Within group level on strategic transformation office, innovation offices, working with cloud native solutions and providing tools and techniques to work with these data sets. And this is how, again, people make the difference. They start to explore, they start to innovate, they start to try. We have done some interesting proof of concepts with partners, with the same partners in an ecosystem, combining data providers from external companies. So you don't need to know an end result. What you need to know and what you need to be willing to is to start to explore this, and it will follow, it will come. Yeah.
I'll be looking at this from an engineering perspective, and from this perspective, I think there are quite a few opportunities in applying artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer vision in the entire financial industry, and also specifically to the insurance industry. And just to give some concrete examples, I think generating, for example, reports using natural language interactions. So AI to support document generation is one, if nothing else, interesting things to do or to evaluate at the same time, which can have an impact on productivity. I mean, just imagine that I can tell my personal intelligent assistant that, hey, I want a, hey, whoever, no, every intelligent and every intelligence assistant has a name now. I want a report regarding XYZ data, can be financial data, starting from the 1st of February until 1st of March, ordered by X and grouped by Y. And then you have it on your screen. I mean, in my book, that's very interesting. Another topic that I ran into recently, and I also find very interesting, is conversational AI to prevent fraud by using forensic linguistic analysis through artificial intelligence. And for example, for a forensic linguistic analyst, it takes roughly around 2 hours for a 15-minute call to analyze that, or 8 hours for a transcript of a page to make an analysis in order to raise or not a flag to prevent fraud. And that is something that can also be implemented through artificial intelligence. Or something that actually popped up recently in our collaboration with NN, that to use computer vision algorithm and pattern matching, more precisely, to validate digital documentation that a certain user uploads online. And we also see a trend in the public sector to go through to digitalization. Of course, it's at this moment it's not a end-to-end digitalization in the sense that you still need to upload some documents. But being able to validate through pattern matching some security areas in that document, yeah, it's also something that can be looked into, and we are looking into. And of course, I think we all know it. We went through it a couple of times. An important application of artificial intelligence and machine learning and computer vision, again, is the liveness module in a KYC module, know your customer module, where you want to detect that the face from the selfie is the same that the one from the identity document, and to see that that person is alive. So I think there are quite a numbers of let's say ideas that are at least worth investigating to see what is the value added in the end in a specific process.
Yeah, I think, you know, it requires also a pragmatic approach. I think none of us, no company will wake up in the morning to become fully AI and let's say data science ready. Yeah. It requires. If I look back to the initiatives and some proven concepts, so we delivered some concepts both in group and in Romania. It requires the willingness and the creativity to explore and to just try it. There's no silver bullet to be ready in AI and machine learning. That is why I also concur with you, Andrei. You know, it requires engineering. It requires a solid, healthy, innovative, and exploring business mindset to be willing to try different methods and different techniques. You just mentioned security and the KYC there and the know your customer process. It can also relate to pricing of products, positioning of products. We had some very interesting views and results on proprietary products, like also the non-life products like property and casualty management, behaviors on car insurance, the way they travel, the timing they travel, the location, the demographics of the travel, the people in the car who travel. You know, we had some interesting use cases. I think conditional is that we continue to try, we continue to explore, and we continue to find a way where we find value for the customer, and in a sustainable way by the company. I truly like this new endeavor, and I truly like this new development. And I also see that some of us in the insurance sector have industrialized and standardized some of the solutions, which is a good sign. It also challenges each other. So I'm very open and very enthusiastic about this development.
So indeed, I think you need a strong stomach for it, in the sense that there are two big variables in when we discuss artificial intelligence, and especially the results when using artificial intelligence. One are the algorithms themselves, and the second is the data set. Of course, it depends what data you feed to the algorithm, but then you also need to, being an algorithm, and probably a new one, because it has to handle a certain data set, you need to improve that over time, also based on the quality or the type of data you are feeding. So it's not a quick win. Today I decide to invest in it, and okay, in a week from now I want to see the 100% or 99% accuracy results. It's something that you need to invest long term to actually see good results. But then I think that the gain will be significantly. You need a long-term investment when strategy when thinking or designing an AI implementation within your, I don't know, product portfolio company.
Yeah.
We just got a question from Mihai Popa, and thank you for your question. I think it's good to take it now, if you agree with me. And he said that health is a big piece of NN business. Is NN planning on integrating wearables or other IoT data into customer risk profiles and personalized pricing?
Thank you for your question, Mihai. This is your question. Basically, also describes an end state. If I mentioned before in this webinar that insurance companies have to acknowledge the fact that they have a huge asset with respect to data, all the data we gather and we already have in our systems. If we combine it with external data sets with respect to social demographics, customer behavior, customer profiling or risk profiling or pricing of a policy to the non-life products in risk profiling, it might be the case that we could offer tailored products and services for customers who act and behave in a particular low risk or healthy way of living. And we wouldn't be the first. If we look to, for example, in the insurance sector, like together with the bank insurance products in mortgages, most of the mortgages are in the Netherlands are sold with a backed, let's say, life insurance. Well, one of the first questions they ask: do you smoke? No, of course not. Do you drink? No, of course not. But some of the pricing and risk modeling of life insurance policies, mortgage policies, are already attached to customer behavior and the risk profile of customer behavior. So I think, and I think that for the coming years, for the non-life products, we will have the same. That could be related to travel products, to travel insurance or car insurance or particular sports or hobbies or professions. So I do think that this new, or let's say the existing developments and innovations related to AI and machine learning will enable and further fuel this product development, this market development, and this customer servicing. Did that answer your question?
Thank you, Mark. And continuing this idea of innovation and being disruptive, we observed that over the past few years, insurtech companies have seen an increase in the adoption of their services. Given the current world context, innovative insurance is seeing a new massive surge. That's why we have decided to take a closer look at the insurtech companies that are shaking things up for insurance and breathing new life into the culture of the insurance business. How often do you look at other insurance companies? Do you see them as a threat or more like new collaborators?
If I look to the fast forward growth and expansion of the insurtech, the fintech, the insurtech companies, the way they innovate, the way they, they enter an ecosystem. We are all acting and operating in an ecosystem. And our company, like NN Romania, could not afford, let's say, to step out a particular ecosystem. We are in that ecosystem of insurances, but also we see that the ecosystem with respect to suppliers, distributors, services, healthcare services. So the life cycle, the customer life cycle and the value chain becomes shorter. And the ecosystems don't have a hard-coded segregation anymore. They integrate, they find each other. We see that the traditional, some traditional sectors in healthcare services or in the private sector, they also start to find each other in offering a wider range of products and services to the same customer. So, of course, we look at the developments in this sector. We look at insurtechs and fintechs, very promising, very smart, very fast forward. They can work with a clean sheet. They don't carry a large, let's say, legacy of being a large corporate company like we are. So the challenge is real, and this is, we cannot afford to sit back and look at it and say, yeah, it will work out. No, we have to stay in touch with our competitors. We need to be able what they are to see what they are doing and why they are doing the things the way they are doing. And I think it's good to have a good challenge. In the end, it's all in favor for the customer. It's all in favor for all of us as a society, as a customer, for our next generation. So I think it's healthy. I would love to meet more of these companies in the today, in the future. I would love to meet them. They bring fresh ideas. They sometimes even can voice customer needs we have never thought of, or they can voice customer needs they have developed and built themselves already. So that's I think it's a healthy development, and it's a strong development we should continue to work with. And this same ecosystem, for us and in Romania, being in the balcony, it could lead us to a momentum in time that we are not in touch with the new developments and with our customers. So we can't afford ourselves to take things for granted. So, and then Romania as a company also needs to step down from the balcony into the arena and to be there with partners, with suppliers, with distributors, with service providers. So we need to be there. And this is how we also established now and fueled the collaboration with Cegeka. We enter the ecosystem. And in that ecosystem, we will meet a lot of new parties and new members and new providers and new distributors. So I think it's quite healthy. And it's challenging, yes.
Agree with you.
So I think from the Cegeka perspective, being a software, part of it being a software delivery company, of course, we welcome any new challenges and any new potential partners that we would work. Especially that the BFSI, the banking, financial services, and insurance is one of our focus and central development points. from an end user perspective, I think, as also Mark mentioned, competition is good. And I think we want to be in a world where, companies are competing in the end for the well-being of their customers, for us. On a personal note, though, maybe in the let's say in the fintech sector, things are a little bit more, let's say, easily adoptable. But from an insurance perspective, I personally want to have my insurance and my private pension with a company that I know will be there in 30 years. So I think it's a matter of trust. And it's especially nowadays, where again the attention span is very low or very short, and we are bombarded with all kinds of extraordinary offers. Trust is very hard to gain. And from that perspective, I think, especially for an insurance company, positioning itself in a zone where they can prove that we are here to stay, and I think that will generate trust that again they will be there in 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. Not sure if that level of trust, it's or you can look at it from the same perspective with for example, with a startup. So I think it's a matter of gaining trust or selling trust, however you wanna put it. Yeah.
A startup needs to grow up.
Nicely put.
And you know, we in pensions and life products, we offer, you know, the trust, but also the sustainability and the long-term relationship, which we can offer, because this is why we are here to stay, not only in the Romanian market, but also as a quite strong established and insurance company on group level. And at the same time, you know, we as an insurance company cannot afford ourselves to lean back. And not being in the arena, not being where the customer is. We need to be where the customer is, because in the end, the customer will decide whether they would like to work with us and stay with us, and stick with us, you know, and that is important. So many small, fast forward growing and executing fintechs and insurtechs, they need scale in the end. They need to grow up. They need to be able to offer sustainable, scalable, and reliable services and products. But we always have interesting opportunities to do it together. There is always an opportunity to where we as an insurance company should stay out, where we should work with partners who can do it better, and where we find common ground in a strong shared customer orientation and a very strong and shared customer service. So it's always good to look around.
It's an interesting discussion today, because we discussed, you know, like a super flowy things, and now from innovation we go to trust. And one of these super popular topics of the moment is vaccination, of course. So trusting the vaccination and having that in our mind. It's how do you think the vaccination will influence the activity in your sector? And also, how do you think the market will evolve compared to the previous year, which was a tough year for most of us?
What I see is that we as a society, although we don't like it, but we adapted. We adapted in this pandemic. We adapted. You know, this is a human aspect. We can adapt to our external environment. So this is how we can work. look at the time spent for the laboratories, for the producers, for the pharmacy industry to bring this vaccine to the market. Less than 9 months. So, and even then to have it tested and to have it, let's say, market available, and where the local governments or combined governance have prepared the distribution. So I think that for this vaccination program in the European Union, in our countries, worldwide, it will help to come back to a kind of a hybrid, situation where some of us will, and some companies will go back to combine office work or community work, meeting, because in the end we are people. We need to meet each other. We need to somehow work with each other and look each other in the eyes and hear each other's voice, non-verbal communication, and to be present with each other. So I think that will help also for the companies who have a distribution model which is based by people, like some of us have a huge sales force, people in the field, colleagues in the field, distributing, selling, advising, and servicing our products. And so I think for the insurance company, for us as a company, and in Romania, we would like to go back to a kind of a hybrid model. If we look back to the year 2020, we closed in a successful year. We have made some good, solid commercial objectives and customer agreements. So there's still growth. There's still the opportunity to deliver. There's still the opportunity to innovate, to adapt, and to adjust. I think it's a good step forward in the vaccination, although for some of us personally, it will be a personal choice either to be vaccinated or not. But it will help bringing people and knowledge back together in some way, in a hybrid way. If I look to the discussions, if I look back to the discussions I had this week, last week, how to come back or when to come back to the office. There's a series of investigations and research done in our company, in our group, and it shows that not all employees want to come back to the office 5 days a week, which is interesting. So we adapt, we adjust, and we can still remain productive, and we can work in a secure way. We can still connect with each other and engage. And if we can do this remotely, can you imagine the potential we have to get to know each other much better when we are physically together? So I'm looking forward.
So yeah, I think that there are two perspectives. One is the business perspective from the IT industry, where I don't think the vaccine will have an impact in the sense, and this is related with what I mentioned in the start of the discussion, that I think the customer expectation and the customer's behavior has changed in a way that it will not go back to what it was. So I think most of us will still expect that we are being offered digital services where, I don't know, later in the evening, we can do all our work from my computer, and I can make use or whatever service in a digital way. And I think that will stay and it will continue. I'm not talking about, of course, other verticals where there's definitely, I expect that there will be a big impact of the people being vaccinated. But from my IT, I don't think so. From a people and team perspective, I do expect a change. And this is related to what Mark mentioned in the way that, and I think we noticed it during this 1 year and a half, is of course it offers you a certain level of being comfortable at home, especially also in the big city where you spend a lot of time commuting. then that time you can actually split between doing some work that you need to do, and also spending that time with your family. But in the end, we are social beings, and I think you can observe that also in a certain level of fatigue, not being able to meet each other. And I think the hybrid model will be the way to go, either working from home or working from anywhere. But at times, I think it will be good, and of course also from a productivity perspective, but also from a human perspective, to meet each other. And either, I don't know, it's a retrospective or it's a one-on-one. So yeah, those type of meetings or discussions where looking a person in the eye helps you connect more, and helps also the let's say the empathy level on the being on the right level. So I expect for that these type of meetings, a team meeting, one-on-one, as I mentioned, a retrospective, a planning, whatever other meetings that the process that you are using or the methodology you are using makes sense. I think that will be the time when it's good to meet in person, and maybe for tasks that need I don't know, focus or personal focus, then that can also be done remotely from home or from anywhere. So from that perspective, I think the people team perspective, I think it will have a good impact, the whole vaccination, when it reaches a certain threshold. Yeah.
Totally agree with you. We also need some human touch, some human contact, as we are all the time in even our webinar, you know, it's online, it's in a virtual space. Because we started on a positive note, on an energetic note. I would also want to close up also with in a optimistic tone. So I would like to hear your plans for 2021. Do you also, even in the personal plan or also in a professional way, do you intend to launch new product services, or I don't know, for your personal, from the personal perspective? But very interested to hear that.
Thank you, Claudia. So on a personal note, when I came to Romania, I came to Romania 1st of September last year, 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, in the midst of travel restrictions, and literally moving one country to another country. Personally, what works for me is self-care. Self-care. Self-care is about, for me, is about being able to structure, organize, and plan for myself, so I remain fit. I take time, I give time, I share time. I make sure that I can, even if I work from home, you know, boundaries are shading between work and private. So, you know, I set boundaries to take care of myself with respect to pauses, to breaks, to walk, to go outside. So, but also to share time and give attention at home to my kids, and but also, you know, when I'm working, to give time and spend time and attention to the people I work with. Spend time. So self-care is about my own organization, my own structure and discipline and planning, and also to spend time and attention to the people I work with. So this is for me personally, and it works. If I work it, it works. On the year 2021, this year we accelerated a full-fledged strategic roadmap, and this is about cloud-native solutions for our data platform, for our applications, for our product development in bank assurance. We have a series of projects to be launched this year, new products with our bank assurance partners. We work on the websites, on the front end, customer engagement, customer communication, and customer servicing. We have some challenging projects. people make the difference. So in the end, we're in this pandemic, working from home, people make the difference to become, let's say, empowered and trusted and facilitated and cared for to remain successful and to achieve their personal growth and objectives as well. We work with strong partners. Even we do remote onboarding. We have very talented and very skilled and experienced engineers, also provided from our partners. We have some challenging projects to deliver together with Cegeka this year, so I'm positive. You know, I feel comfortable that we can deliver the critical mass of this strategic roadmap. And then it's not about 1 week later or 2 days later or 1 week earlier about deadlines, because deadline is I don't like that word. It's about customer value, customer orientation, customer focus, customer service. So a really customer-centric and a customer-orientated approach. And I feel comfortable that we can succeed again this year.
Nice. I think from a business perspective, as I mentioned already, there's a central point and positioning ourselves as being very focused on the BFSI sector, aiming to be a partner that really adds business value and not only technical expertise. So that's our ambition for this year. And I think starting, and which is actually the most important one, consolidating our relationship with our existing partners, but also being open for new opportunities. So we are definitely looking to grow and to hire talented people. From a personal perspective, I think we are hardly waiting to have a vacation after all this time. And of course, we are looking to see what's happening, who opens their borders, what are the rules, regulations to travel. Most probably, as I kind of find out during our team meetings, might be that we travel to Greece. Which seems like a preferred destination for most of our colleagues here at Cegeka, at least. And we were joking that maybe we find ourselves there and we do a team building together. We will see if that will be feasible or not. But yeah, it's something that we are looking forward as a family. And I have a small curiosity, Mark. While visiting your profile on LinkedIn, I saw what it looks like a vintage Honda motorcycle. What's up with that?
I'm glad you asked. You know, I'm happily surprised that you asked. So I'm very passionate about motorcycles. Started when I was 14 years old. So this particular Honda is owned by me. I completely restored it. So it's a 1975 Honda CB 750.
Wow, that's impressive.
It was built by Honda, and what they did, Honda, and later followed by Kawasaki and Suzuki, they built a motorbike which was completely revolutionary at that time. The first series production model was in 1969, and they wiped away the English motorcycle market in less than a year. They wiped it away. So this is, let's say, from a historic perspective, how product development, innovation, reliability, and predictability and quality of production and releases. And so this is the story behind it. And this Honda is also has technology which I can reach. Some of the technology in the modern bikes I can't reach anymore. If I have a malfunction or engineering challenge, I need to open up so many plastic covers, and it's completely digitalized. So I like also sometimes some old technology.
I understand. Quite inspiring, especially the part where you reconditioned yourself. I mean, that's sounds really cool. Quite an achievement. Congrats on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
By the way, we have our colleague that is working with the colleagues in NN. One of our business analysts, Loredana, is also a motorcycle aficionado. So maybe
I will definitely meet her then to talk about motorbikes. Yeah.
Yeah. Put you in touch. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Let's see if we have some questions from the audience. The chat is still open, so looking forward to seeing your questions. I think if we don't have, then
we were
yeah.
We were either very clear and concise, or
exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the participation today, either for the audience and also for you, my special guests, Mark and Andrei, and wishing you all the best and hope to see you to the next webinar in in the same shape with optimistic views and a smile on your faces, and also with another interesting topic that we reached today.
Certainly. We would like to join the next time. Thank you very much for this invitation and opportunity. And I hope we can continue this type of conversations in the future.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Claudia, for organizing and hosting the seminar. Yeah. See you soon.
See you soon. Have a great day.
Have a nice day all. Bye-bye.
Bye.